Coach Raheem Morris said, after review, we have made the decision Michael Penix Jr. will be the Atlanta Falcons starting quarterback moving forward. He continued, this was a football decision and we are fully focused on preparing the team for Sunday's game against the New York Giants. We now bring in CBS Sports NFL analyst and two-time Super Bowl champ Brian McFadden. And B-Mac, you literally sat at this desk with me Monday night, and I asked you just how short of a leash did Cousins have going into that game against the Raiders. But now that we're sitting here 24 hours later, we're hearing this news about Penix now taking over as the signal caller out there in Atlanta. Just give me your initial reaction to this news.
I'm surprised, Kiana, because to your point, a few hours ago, we talked about the leash. We talked about Kirk Cousins. We talked about what is his future in terms of being QB1 for the Atlanta Falcons. Yes, they won the ball game, but remember, I said they survived against the Las Vegas Raiders, a team that has really been bad, a team that did not have their best defensive player in Max Crosby. They only scored one touchdown. Yes, they won, but it wasn't convincing. It didn't look good in terms of how they won the ball game. They believe Michael Penix is the best quarterback currently in the building, and he gives them the best chance to win their division, which would guarantee a playoff spot.
Yeah, it's something worth noting because they are still in that postseason mix. Certainly need to win out one, but also might need some help from the Buccaneers and able to jump to the top of that division. But you talk about Cousins' night last night. We talked about what needed to be done and what we needed to see out of him. Well, only 112 yards passing, 11 of 17. He had one touchdown and one pick. But you're talking about Michael Penix Jr. still being in this mix. What are your expectations for Penix going forward, considering that they still have their sights set on the postseason?
Well, I can say this. If you're going to make your first start in the month of December, you want that start to be against the lonely New York Giants because they have been like homecoming for most opposing teams. And you get New York in Atlanta at the crib. That's a big benefit as well. Now, granted, do we expect to see some growing pains for the young quarterback in Michael Penix? No question, because this is his first career start. But you would love to have that start happen against a feeble defense in the New York Giants. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Michael Penix light it up because he's a natural thrower of the football. He sees the football field well. And the one luxury that he's had at his disposal, he's been able to watch the good and the bad from the sideline and learn from a veteran player in Kirk Cousins. So he's been able to dissect and see the things that Kirk was doing right when they were in the midst of winning ball games. And then he was able to watch what Kirk Cousins was doing wrong. So hopefully he can allow those things to be able to put him in the best position to succeed, make the routine plays happen routinely, Kiana. That's all we need to see from Mike Penix. Make the routine plays happen routinely, protect the football, and he should be okay.
And it certainly is a help on top of being able to sit back and watch all of this fold throughout the season, the good, bad, and ugly. Also, now you're joining an offense that you do have Bijan Robinson to help aid you in that offense. Drake London's another name, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts, so you have some weapons around you to help support the rookie. But the Falcons, we got to talk about this. They did sign Cousins to a 4-year, $180 million contract this offseason, and I would be pretty certain to know that moving on from him would be extremely expensive considering where we are right now. But just what in your mind is next for Kirk Cousins?
Well, Keon, I'll say this, and I'll say this with conviction. If you go away from Kirk Cousins in terms of not starting him, I don't think you can go back to Kirk Cousins. I think this is Michael Penix's job moving forward the rest of the way in 2024 and clearly in 2025. And if that is the case, now you have to see exactly what the market is for Kirk Cousins in terms of potential trade. But if you're the Atlanta Falcons, and if this thing works out the way you would like for it to work out, now you have an opportunity to add more resources because you know who your QB1 is moving forward. And you may be able to get some draft compensation in return for a guy like Kirk Cousins because regardless of how bad he's looked in the second half of the season, he still can give you serviceable play, especially if everything is set up nicely around him. So for Atlanta, Coach Raheem felt like, listen, we're still in the midst of a playoff run. We're still in the midst of winning our division. But we believe the young guy is better than the older guy. If you make this move, Coach, you can't go back. And I believe he understands that, and he's willing to do that and understand it and knowing that I jumped in my car, I snatched my rearview mirror out of the car, and I threw it out the window because I'm only looking forward. I'm not looking behind. And that means Michael Penix is the guy, not just this week, but he is the guy the rest of the way.
It makes sense when you look at it, considering that even when we discussed this on Monday night, we're looking at Kirk Cousins, we're talking about what he needs to do, what needs to be done. But also, when we were listening to Raheem Morris talk that week, he sounded still very supportive of his quarterback. But do you think maybe this has a little bit to do with maybe this fan base starting to lose a lot of patience because it seems like that Kirk Cousins experiment was starting to fail?
Yeah, and it felt like Kirk wasn't playing with the confidence. I spoke about it last night, Kiana. You got to throw punches. You got to be willing to be an aggressor as the passer. And I understand he's been throwing the football to the wrong color in the midst of that 4-game losing streak they were in. But you cannot allow that to attack your mentality as a quarterback. To your point, they won the ball game, but we saw below pedestrian-like numbers for Kirk Cousins. We didn't see anything that led you to believe he is thriving. I felt like he was surviving, and because of his survival, the offense was barely getting by as well. That's not the mindset, because the team they're chasing in their division has a go-getter at the quarterback position in Baker. Baker is not playing around. Baker is stepping on the football field. It doesn't matter if he's home or if he's away, and he's taking what belongs to him. And that's the mindset, and that's why they're thriving. So if you're Atlanta, you got to find a way to shake up the room a little bit. Hey, wake up in here. It's time to go. And the best way to wake up the room, you know what? You're starting, you're not. And now I have the attention, because now it's about getting back to business, and it starts this week. So Mike Penix, I can't wait to see exactly what color do-rag he's wearing. You're making your first official start. You got homecoming. No, I'm sorry. It's not homecoming, but you got the New York Giants, because the New York Giants are trying to lose ball games anyway. So this is a great way to jumpstart some positive results in your favor for the franchise and the Atlanta Falcons, and moving the rest of the way.
B-Mac, I'm going to be honest with you. I remember back in April, I think the Falcons left a lot of people probably scratching their heads when, after you signed Kirk Cousins, they went and drafted Michael Penix. Now they might be looking a little smart after all of this went down. As always, B-Mac, we appreciate you stopping by with that insight. Thanks so much.
And real quick, I don't like to compare or contrast, but I do remember at one point in time, a organization in the name of Kansas City, the Chiefs. Remember when they drafted Pat Mahomes?
Yep.
They had more than a serviceable guy at QB1 in Alex Smith. And remember, Pat Mahomes made his first start towards the end of the season. And man, that was the best decision they ever made. I'm not saying that because that's going to happen for Atlanta. But all I'm saying is we've seen it done before. And we were like, what are they doing? Actually, it was the best thing. So let's see how this plays out for Michael Penix and the Atlanta Falcons.
It's certainly going to be something to see. He's doing his dirty bird over here. Something to see, especially him just getting those reps under his belt. Who knows what may lie ahead. But Brian McFadden, I know that we're certainly grateful to have you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Well, NFC South still somewhat up for grabs. The Bucs currently sitting at the top of the division. Falcons right behind. For what it's worth, Falcons do own the tiebreaker. But
movie camera, hello, Blue and Silver Nation. Today, we're diving into a topic that's stirring up the hearts of Dallas Cowboys fans everywhere. We're talking about potential changes in the coaching staff, a subject that always sparks debate, but this time it involves a big name as a possible replacement. I'll hold off on the big reveal for a few seconds, but trust me, this is a conversation you won't want to miss until the very end. 3 o'clock in less than a minute, you'll have all the details. First, let's recap the season so far. Despite some recent wins and a solid 3-1 record over the last 4 games, speculation about Mike McCarthy's future as head coach continues to swirl. Jerry Jones has shown confidence in McCarthy, and players have praised the positive locker room culture. However, McCarthy's contract hasn't been renewed yet, leaving the door open for potential changes at the end of the season. Fire now. Let's talk about the name making waves behind the scenes, Mike Vrabel. The former Tennessee Titans head coach and current Cleveland Browns consultant is one of the options being considered if the Cowboys decide to take a new direction in 2025. Vrabel, the NFL Coach of the Year in 2021, has a proven track record of success. He's known for his sideline energy and ability to build competitive teams. Flex biceps, why would Vrabel be a great choice? First, he'd bring a fresh dynamic to the coaching staff. With his experience and aggressive style, he could reinvigorate the team and help the Cowboys chase that long-awaited Super Bowl. Additionally, this change could open the door to hiring a new offensive coordinator, potentially the key to improving our offensive game plan. American football now, what do you think, Cowboys fans? Is Mike Vrabel the right choice to lead the Cowboys? Or do you believe McCarthy deserves another shot to continue his work? This is your chance to weigh in. Your voice matters in shaping the future of our team. Megaphone, and don't forget, share this video with other fans, drop your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any updates about our Dallas Cowboys. Let's stay united on this journey to bring our team back to the top. American football, go Cowboys! See you in the next video. Until then,